Hello, all, and thank you for joining me for another episode of True Crime Time Hop, a series I started as a bit of a science experiment where each day we look at that date in true crime history and pick out one event that happened and discuss it. My name is Ashley Robin, and I am an up-and-coming artist with a side interest in the real-life horrors associated with the dark side of human psychology. If you like true crime, storytelling, art, music, general weirdness, and just overall authenticity, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, where I post a variety of content from my music to my art and, obviously, true crime, which I'm hoping to get to the point that I'm posting these videos every day on time. Technically today, I'm still a day behind, but this is the video for January 16th. In my other two videos, I took time in the beginning of each one before I told the story related to the true crime to kind of just vlog and talk about things I was working on and feelings I was having and goals I had in mind just to keep them fresh in my mind. But today I'm going to do it a little bit differently and skip that rant because I have kind of a long one for you today. I think I'll keep my vlogs as a separate series, so that way if you're following me for my art, you can choose that, and if you're following me for true crime, you can choose that. Since the first few episodes of this series, I ranted for longer than I planned to rant in the beginning, and I don't want every episode to feel like I'm trying to sell you on my art, because this and that are mostly going to be separate, and if there's any crossover, it will be hopefully complimentary and not just me shoving my creative endeavors down your throat. And I'm sorry if the first two episodes felt like that. I am just very passionate about a lot of things, and I have very little support in real life, so I'm just putting it all out there because these are the things that I would really appreciate support on. But I will not say a damn thing more about it. I forgot to do a disclaimer in my last video, but I'm going to hopefully get the hang of having a consistent intro, and that definitely needs to be included, just in case I do blow up, because all of the other big true crime YouTubers have them, and I feel like there probably is a reason. Warning, the following content is not suitable for certain audiences. If you're triggered by talk of murder, abuse, and other heinous acts of human brutality, please exit the video now and prioritize your mental health. Viewer discretion is advised. On this day, January 16th, 93 years ago, in 1930, Clarence Ray Allen was born. He grew up in Blair, Oklahoma, but had a poor upbringing and took work picking cotton at a local farm. He was very interested in learning about the Native Americans, later claiming to be of Choctaw descent. When he grew up, he chose to venture outside of Oklahoma and moved to Fresno, California, where he pursued a better life for himself. So he started his own business, and it was a security company, which he worked very hard at. And before long, he was wildly successful, able to buy his own horse ranch, and he even had his own airplane. I wish that was the end of the story. I wish it was an inspirational tale of a man who came from nothing and made himself successful. But unfortunately, Clarence Ray Allen got bored, and soon enough, he was choosing to start his own crime ring. He regularly crossed paths with a bunch of petty criminals in his industry with security, and he was able to round them all up and form a gang named after himself, which gave him the means to burglarize multiple local businesses. At that time, there was a double murder in Nevada, and Allen told his associates that that was him, so they would understand that that is what snitches get, and thereby securing their loyalty to him out of fear. Allen loved to have this control over his associates, and together they formed a plan to commit the biggest heist their group had done thus far. He, along with his son Roger Allen and their associates Ed Savala, Carl Mayfield, and Charles Jones, planned to rob Franz Market, which would be their biggest conquest to date. Fran's Market was a popular store in Fresno that was actually owned by friends of Clarence Ray Allen. He knew the owners, Francis and Ray Schlietwitz, for years up to that point, but I guess where there's money involved, loyalty isn't really a thing. So he arranged to have their grown son come over to his ranch and go for a swim in his pool, and he had it all planned out that he would have the store and safe keys stolen from his stuff while he was swimming. Then Allen chose to get his son Roger's 17-year-old girlfriend, Mary Sue Kitt, involved. They had planned for her to take the Schlietwitz son out for a date that night, and while they were out, the burglary would be taking place. The robbery went off without a hitch, and they made out with about $500 cash and $10,000 worth of money orders, which they had Mary Sue Kitt get involved again and help to cash. After they were in the clear and they thought they had gotten away with it, though, Mary felt bad and decided to tell the store owner's son everything. Of course, he told his parents, who confronted Allen since they knew him and thought that he was their friend. They also told the police, obviously. Allen called the gang together for a meeting about the betrayal of his son's girlfriend, and it was unanimously decided that she needed to be executed. The man Allen chose to carry out the hit was Lee Furrow. Furrow was afraid for his life if the hit wasn't successful, so when the poisoning of Mary with cyanide tablets didn't work, he strangled her instead. Her body was then dumped in a nearby canal where it was never recovered. Allen was subsequently jailed in Folsom Prison and charged with the burglary as well as the murder of Mary. It was one of very few times in history where a murder charge was able to be carried out without a body recovered. While he was in prison, instead of thinking about what he'd done and feeling shame like he should have been, he got close with his bunkie, Billy Ray Hamilton. I guess they must have bonded over the fact that they had the same middle name. They spent hours talking about how to handle the witnesses in Allen's case. And when Hamilton was paroled, he set out to carry out the plot to kill a list of 8 witnesses that testified against Allen. Hamilton and his girlfriend, Connie Barbeau, then approached Fran's Market. They waited inside for all the customers to leave. Then he pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and she pulled out a .32 caliber revolver. The Schlietwitz son, Brian, who was 27 at the time, along with his co-workers Douglas White, who was 18, and Josephine Roca, who was 17, were held hostage briefly in the stockroom. But unfortunately, they then met their end, execution style. When he heard shots, Jack Abbott, who lived next to the market, came out with his gun and exchanged fire with Hamilton, who was in the process of trying to flee. Hamilton was shot in the foot and continued to run off, and he made it away that day, but his girlfriend was left hiding in the market. This guy was not a real winner of a boyfriend, for one. Hamilton was then arrested a week later while trying to rob a liquor store, and in his pocket the police found a list of the 8 witnesses and their addresses furnished by Allen, who was adamant that he had nothing to do with this. Hamilton then joined Allen on death row, and Allen was later moved to San Quentin. It was there that he was executed by lethal injection as the last execution ever held at San Quentin, the day after his birthday, on January 17th, 2006. So yeah, can you believe this freaking douche? He had everything made, and he decided to throw it all away to be a piece of shit. And then he made the genius decision of choosing Hamilton to be the guy to carry out his revenge. Like, Hamilton clearly was not bright. He should have thought that one through better. Hamilton got away with murder and then got arrested a week later at a liquor store. Like, really? You did all that and then you didn't even want to lay low? And then he still had that list just in his pocket? Like, that guy probably spent a lot of his life in jail leading up to that. I mean, granted, I'm glad that he was stupid and sloppy because these guys don't deserve to have gotten away with this stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of a bit mind-blowing how dumb criminals are sometimes, I guess. So guys, let me know all 11 of you, somebody has to comment below and let me know what you think of this format versus when I was doing a little bit of a running vlog in the beginning before I would jump into the story, or if I should comment at the end, like, what do you want? Because this is all just experimental. This was probably the longest I actually spent telling a story on this channel so far. Usually I have them super duper abbreviated to kind of compensate for the fact that I spend 5 to 6 minutes in the beginning of the first two just rambling. But yeah, so the longer story, I am going to be working in the next week or so on getting some better accompaniment track for this. I know that the random sporadic notes from my song that I wrote are not really on par with the theme, the vibe here. But, you know, it's all just a work in progress, and I appreciate your patience and any feedback that you give me, preferably nice. If it's going to be negative, message me privately, because I'm fragile. I'm first just starting this, and this is going out on a big limb for me. So, any encouragement, any sharing of my page and forcing your friends, your mom, whoever to follow me, please do that. Because every video I'm going to be mentioning out loud how many subscribers I have, and I would love to see every video them going up just even by 1 or 2, just to have that record of growth over time. And I believe you probably know what I'm talking about when I say I have a place reserved at the end of my videos for shouting out Patreon subscribers when I have them. In the meantime, you get the dad from the Fairly Odd Parents and his little meme, because I love it. I've been 1 day behind ever since I started this, so today I have to do a whole second video if I want to be caught up. And if I want to be ahead and scheduling these to be posted at a certain time every day, I'm going to have to do 3 today, so I don't know how much of that I'm actually going to do. I'm executive dysfunctioning just thinking about it. It's a lot. When I'm overwhelmed, my brain has a tendency of just shutting down. So, wish me luck. If you see a second one come up on the channel today, you know I'm really putting some serious effort into this and overcoming that whole mental block with myself. I'm quitting smoking for the time being, so I will have a lot of nervous energy to find something to do with, and I'm hoping to use this as an outlet so that I'm not completely pulling my hair out from anxiety. And I also just posted another process video with a vocal track of me doing a cover, a Jimi Hendrix cover. And I need to work on that audio track. So this is just all stuff that I am going to have posting to my YouTube in the next couple days. Lord willing, if there is a Lord, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I am definitely just going to keep on rambling until I shut myself up and cue the music.